Welcome to another session of I Do Really. Tonight I'm going to talk about why people get divorced. I'm going to talk about the 10 marriage killers, and I'm going to be coming from this book called Marriage Boot Camp. People that are on the verge of getting divorced but want to save their marriage. This is a good book to help to save your marriage. As a last resort, these people in this went to the marriage boot camp or followed the things in here to help them. Very good book. This book right here is called Marital Separation. Now, these people in this book actually got divorced. And this actually talks about the different reasons why these people just say, oh, forget it. I done had enough of this. This book actually took me over a year to read because it was just really so sad to see people so in love and then get to a point, I don't even want to see you, don't want to be in the same room with you. I don't want to hear your voice. Oh, this is the saddest. But tonight, I really want to work on saving marriages, helping people to stay together. You can get both of these books at the bookstore. You can sit at the bookstore and just read. Get you some coffee, get your little drink, and just look through these books just and actually read it. But we're gonna talk about the 10 marriage killers. I think they need to add in one more, and I'm gonna add this as the 11th. Sometimes goals in life can have people divorce. You have goals, they don't have any. You both have goals, but you're both colliding, so you can't get things together. So it's like, hey, you got to go. But we're going to talk about, since these people are the marriage experts and how they really help people, to work things out. There's a lot of role playing in here that if you can just get the couple together and just sit down and just go over this. They give you different scripts and how to, talk about this. I've learned something. Maybe we can talk about it. Maybe we can do it, and everything like that. But we want to talk about why people get divorced. These are marriage killers. This right here will kill your marriage. These 10 things will kill your marriage. First, we want to talk about communication. Some people, they don't communicate right. I remember this couple, the man was actually deaf, and his wife didn't communicate to him something, and he was so hot with her that they was about to get divorced because there was a miscommunication somewhere. But once they actually got it together, it's like, oh, so they was able to work it out. I'm just going to go through them. Like I said, I don't want these things to take longer than 30 minutes. Because you can really get this book yourself and read it. But I just want you to know, for the people that want to get married, you have a lot of people that are married that want out. You have a lot of people that are single that want in. But you owe it to yourself to get some understanding. Talk to some couples. Some couples, you'll be surprised what you're looking at. Some couples look so happy. I remember someone was saying, oh, that's such a sweet couple. And someone said, nah, something wrong. And they were right. Okay. Communication is a biggie. I remember I was watching this couple and I had asked them, because they looked like they were just so in love. They were old. I was asking them, what has held their marriage together? And their top thing to help them was communication. Sometimes you don't hear stuff right. Sometimes there's misunderstandings. Sometimes we just don't, because of our past, some things, because of our experiences, we do things differently, and we don't communicate the way another person may have learned to communicate. You may communicate different from them. So communication was number one. Number two, sex. Now, this is something that, even in the church, people don't want to talk about sex. I'm not talking about your desires. We're talking about actual intercourse. People divorce over intercourse. Why do you think a lot of people end up having affairs? The sex ain't good no more. Just like Mother Dear said, was the sex good? No, major deduction. Okay? And a lot of people, because you're waiting for this moment, and for this moment to be dang, I married you, and this is all I get. You don't want to be in a marriage and the sex ain't good. You got all these desires built up in you, and now you finally get it, and you're like, just like this one man said, he couldn't tell after his wife had the baby, he couldn't tell whether he was in or out. But that's an issue in marriages. And, people, you better talk about it. We can, no. You better talk about it. You better talk about it. Sex. Okay? Talk about it. Thirdly, I'm just going to go through them. May talk about it depending on how much time we have. Money. Money is a marital killer. I remember the government wanted to buy an area of land, but this area of land had a lot of houses on it. So what the government decided they're going to do, because they wanted the land, they went to every house and they told the couples, we're willing to buy your house at whatever price you want because we want your property. Once the government gave the people the money for their properties, every last one of those couples divorced. Why? Money is an issue. Number 4, can you believe chores? Chores is a reason you didn't do your part. Chores is a problem. 5, personality differences. Everybody don't think the same. Men, I believe most of their thinking is on the right side of their brains. Women's thinking on the left side. We both think differently. But people divorce over those differences. Women, we can multitask. We can do a lot at one time. But personality differences. Parenting. Some people divorce over the children. Cheating. A lot of people, they can't deal with that. And I'm going to talk about this real quick. I was talking to this guy, and he was saying if he was married and his wife messed around with, she went somewhere and she met, let's just say, Shemar Moore. He's an attractive man. Women just fall all over him. He said that if it was Shemar Moore or somebody like that, someone famous like that, that's an opportunity of a lifetime. He said look, baby, we can work this out. But a lot of people, they're divorcing over cheating. Some people will stay there. Some people, this is really not an issue. Look, we can work this out. I just need you to get rid of your side piece, and whatever we need to do to work this thing out, I'm willing to stay with you on that. And I'm gonna say this right here too. I look at a lot of professional sports players. This one particular, I won't even mention his name, but this one particular, he was into the women. It's like, ooh, the women. But he ended up getting married. And to me, his wife should have understood. This is a professional man. He's a professional in what he do. Of course, women are chasing him just like ants. Okay? But once his affairs became public, she left him. But it's like this. Common sense would have told you. But anyway, fighting is number 8. These are reasons why these are marriage killers. These are breakup of marriage. I remember I was counseling this one lady, and she was talking about how she wanted to divorce her husband because he was beating her. So I wanted to dig into her and ask her, when did the beating start? She said before they got married. I said, well, why did you marry him? She said, I believe that if we was to get married, the beatings would stop. I had to stop her. I said, now wait a minute. Didn't you watch The Burning Bed? That man beat that woman, but he kept on telling, baby, you know I love you. I don't mean to do that. You know what? If people would just watch movies, the movies would tell you a lot. They would tell you a lot. So fighting, all this abuse. Life's too short. Life's too short to be in an abusive relationship. Yes, you're vowing to stay there through the good and the bad, for better, for worse. But it's like this. You ought to learn your spouse before you get married to them. I'm just going to go through them. Some people wrestle with the past. A lot of things that happen in their past, and they can't let go, and they have these issues. And sometimes your spouse, or you may be talking to your spouse about something, and they blurt out something, and you like asking them, who are you talking to? Because they got stuff in their past they're not over with yet. So those are issues. That's why I tell people, if they would listen to, if you go to, what I may just do? I may just do a lesson on it about getting those past soul wounds healed before getting married, so that you can have better relationships, and getting those things on the inside out before you can really start to have a relationship that's happy. Okay. Number 10, and this is the last one, the need for forgiveness. Now, a lot of times, we're in these relationships, our spouses just do stuff that we just don't appreciate, and we just have to let it go. But sometimes we just can't. We done had an argument about something, and you bringing up what happened 10 years ago. Wait. That happened 10 years ago. You still upset with me? But I'm going to read one story in here, and this is why I would say this book is a good book. This book impressed me a lot in helping people work out their differences. It gives a lot of things. How, effective communication. This is how if I'm talking, you let me talk and you be quiet. Just don't say nothing. Just hear what I have to say. Stop all this, no, all this back and forth. No, just hear me out, and then you repeat what I say. This book it'll help people that want to get married. It'll help them it'll help them to avoid these marriage killers. But then with people that are in marriage relationship, that are married, that want to save their marriage, this book, I'm telling you, this was great. But you have to keep stuff in mind. And you have to learn just to, okay, are we going to do this or not? But I want to read this one story, because I think this was one of the best stories in the book. It's going to talk about a man named Richard and his wife Alice. Now I want you to pay attention to this story. Like I said, all these are real. All these actually happened. You know, this is We TV. Jim and Elizabeth Carroll with the marriage boot camp. Listen to this story. This right here blew me away. This right here blew me away. Of all the stories in here, this one blew me away. This is dealing with the need for forgiveness. It says Richard and Alice were in their 60s and had been married for more than 30 years when they came to the marriage boot camp. They had been living as virtual roommates for their entire marriage. Neither one of them believed in divorce, so they just hung in there, decade after decade, living in silent, polite misery. They did manage to have 4 children along the way, who eventually intervened and forced them to come to the marriage boot camp. Their children, now adults, saw how miserable they were and wanted so much more for them. It was clear, listen to this, it was clear that Richard did not want to be there. To make things worse, Alice told him that it was just for 2 days, when actually, it was a 4-day program. She also allowed him to believe that it would be a small private experience. So when he walked into the room of 150 people, his face turned bright red with anger. He made it very clear from the get-go that he was pissed as hell at being tricked into this experience and wanted to leave but couldn't because their airline tickets were unrefundable. I don't love my wife. I haven't loved my wife for the past 28 years. And nothing you can say is going to change that. I stayed in this marriage for our children and to honor my vows. Now that's something to say. It was clear to these people that this man wanted nothing to do with this. He was only in the marriage for the vow's sake. Now, you do have some people, they will divorce you. But this man, all he was trying to do was honor his vow. They were in their 60s, married over 30 years. So they married over 30. They were married in their maybe late 20s and into their 30s. And they living a life of pure misery. The reason why he hated his wife, he wanted to marry a virgin, and she lied to him. And when he found out that he was that, he was hot with that woman. He was hot with her. But let me read to you the end result of this 4-day program. There is nothing you can say to make anything change in this relationship. I'm going to back up. Okay, there's this Richard and Alice's story continued. Richard and Alice learned a lot during their experience at the marriage boot camp. But going through the forgiveness drill had more impact on their relationship than on the other relationships of any of the other attendees. Both Richard and Alice finally made the choice. It's all about choices. They made a choice to release each other from the anger. You know how when you really bitter at somebody and you just so disgusted with them, you so bitter, I don't want nothing to do with you, but I'm just here because for the vow's sake. They made a choice. They made a choice that they had held against each other and completely forgave each other for the stupid mistakes they had made so many years before. Sometimes we just make stupid mistakes. Sometimes we just do things. Some things just happen. We don't mean for it to happen, but they just happen. Just like I remember watching the play Meet the Browns, when that girl was so upset with her husband because he had an affair, and she was wondering, how could you do this to me? You said you loved me. How could you do this? And the reason why he said he did it is because they were having an argument. He just wanted some peace. But instead of just settling it, you go to your room and I go to a room and we just take a 15-minute time out. He just left the house, went to the diner, and then this other woman come in and talking to him all nicely. And because she was giving him something that he wasn't getting at home, it just happened. Okay? He didn't love her, didn't mean to do it, but because, sometimes we are the problem. We hate we looking at just, you had an affair on me, but the reason why I had an affair on you is because you wouldn't shut up. You wouldn't be quiet. You wouldn't listen to me. We have an argument about that. Let's stop arguing. If we can't talk, we need to talk about it. Stop arguing. We need to talk. Okay? The stupid mistakes they had made years before. Completely. Richard and Alice were finally free. I'm going to let go one paragraph and go down to this one, because now listen to this one. This man said, Richard said, there is nothing you can say or do that'll make me love this woman, change anything. It was an extremely emotional process for both Richard and Alice, but they left the marriage boot camp hand in hand, freer and happier than they had ever been. The two of them were behaving like teenagers in love. I was like, wow. And said they had never felt this kind of love before. You want to save your marriage? These people can do it. These people can do it. They got little processes. I like how within this, I'm looking at the time, they talk about why marriages are so hard. What kind of real couples do the marriage it says, do you want to grow and heal and learn so that you can have a healthy marriage? This is the book. This will help singles, because singles, you need to know why people divorce. So many people getting married, but so many people are divorcing. You need to know the reason why. Because, it could be your turn. You're not experienced. You just in the woo about getting married right now, but you're not married yet. My sister and I was just talking about people that be boyfriends and girlfriends for years. Then when they finally get married in a couple of years, they're divorcing. They give all kind of skits. The ABCs of the marriage boot camp. How to talk. They give you a marriage boot camp quick script. And it just talk about, I'm reading this book I came across and as interesting concepts called love language. What is your love language? Come on now. Some people need words of affirmation. Some people need acts of services. Okay, some people like receiving gifts. But some people take those in the wrong perspective because they want to know why are you giving me this gift? Some people just need quality time. Some people just need a touch. Don't have to say nothing, just a simple touch. But like I said, all of these are to help people before you get married. Learn why people get divorced. Learn what really kills marriages. What kills it? Learn about it. Why do people really get divorced? How bad is it? These two are some good books. This is, like I said, this book right here took me over a year to read. It was so sad. But this book right here, if it can help Richard and Alice, I believe it can help anybody. And I would suggest anybody go get this book. You don't have, just go to the bookstore. I mean, just read it. I sat and read it first. I didn't read all of it, but I was so intrigued. I enjoyed it so much. I went on ahead and bought the book. So when I do my little classes and teachings, I go through it. Maybe we'll talk more deeper next time, but I really want to talk about tonight about why people get divorced, because you really need to know. So many people are getting divorced, sometimes, like I said, over a miscommunication. Chores, above all things. You didn't take the trash. I'm tired of taking the trash out for you. You didn't wash the dishes. You burnt my pancakes. But some people, they just stay there. They be in these marriages, but they are miserably married, but just staying there for the sake of the marriage. But you got some people, they will divorce you. But like I said, people, if people could just learn to calm down from all the woo, I'm getting married, to keep that excitement of getting married. Get you some books and read. Talk to some couples. They can tell you what it's really about. I actually would love to do a divorce section about why people, I want to know how y'all get married, why y'all get married, what happened, and what do you feel you could have did to save your marriage? If you could have did it all over again, what you think you could have did to save it? These people, as a last resort, went to the marriage boot camp. These people right here said, the heck with it, I'm out. But like I said, we're already into 27 minutes. I don't want to go over it. I don't want to go over 30 minutes. But I'm giving you guys this to try to help you. You owe it to yourself to know as much as you can. You vow for better, for worse. Okay, so what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that could happen? What's the richer with what's the poor? What's the forsaking all others until death? You need to know this. You don't want to be in this 30 years, in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, and hate the dickens that you got married. Marriage is supposed to be a beautiful thing, and it is beautiful. What God laid out to me was beautiful. If people can have it, people can do it, but you need to learn. Calm down. I can't stress that enough, for people to calm down from the way I'm getting married. Next time.